The global perspective of economic, social, and legal issues of virtual worlds. The origins of virtual worlds. According to Sega's Medical Dictionary, a virtual world is a computer-based interactive 3D simulation in which users take the form of avatars visible to others graphically. The start of virtual worlds is said to have come from early 1990s 3D space stations where users could teleport in from the company Worlds Incorporated, which sparked developments in the virtual world. The economic issues of virtual world include scarcity, the impact of real money traded virtual assets, the impact of third-party gaming services, and secondary markets. Scarcity. It is because virtual worlds permit the sale and trade of virtual assets that are worth money like physical goods and services are in the real world. Only because users give value to them. Scarcity also influences virtual assets' value, as players seek exclusive access to products and services for their avatars. Leander and Irvis note, scarcity in virtual worlds can be categorized as either artificial scarcity, generated by third-party online gaming services, or natural scarcity, user-generated virtual goods production. The real money trade of virtual assets allows for both profit to be made by users, creators, and investors of virtual worlds, but also allows game assets to be worth more or less depending on the amount of time or money a person is willing to spend to achieve desires in the virtual world. This puts users who have less money at a disadvantage for success. Third-party gaming services make the virtual world less enjoyable as it adds further competition to places where users seek happiness and explore. The global impact of virtual worlds can be illustrated by Korean efforts in creating the Game Industry Promotion Act, Act Number 7941, enacted on April 28, 2006, and was amended in 2007. The amendment makes it illegal to trade virtual goods for real money if the goods are either used as an instrument in a game of chance, such as a virtual card game, or two, obtained through exploiting security holes using automated bot characters or other abnormal play. Those violating the law may be sentenced to a maximum of 5 years in prison or a fine not exceeding 50 million Korean won. In China, the ambiguity concerning third-party gaming services are embodied by the Bank of China's communication, implying that secondary market trade is illegal. The social issues of virtual worlds include griefing and virtual violence. Griefing is cyberbullying in the virtual world. When users are allowed anonymity, people often act in more aggressive and abusive manners, just as with bullying in the physical world. Insecure and ill-natured people seek to make others feel less or participate in behaviors to get what they want. Virtual violence, like real violence, has psychological effects that impacts those who view them, especially for prolonged periods of time, and can serve to normalize violent behaviors and possibly shift moral reasoning and moral emotions. Global impact of virtual violence can be recognized through the banning of Rape Day in European countries, including Germany. Rape Day is a virtual violence video game containing aspects in which players must rape and kill as many women as possible. Cheryl Dubber from Auckland, New Zealand, also started a petition on Change.org to the CEO of Valve Corporation, Gabe Newell, to ban the Rape Day game after media attention and over 3,000 signatures. It was finally banned. As the game launched in South Africa, a country plagued by rape in real life, Avon stood by a 1,000 Women's Trust petition to ban these type of games containing sexual violence. The legal issues of virtual worlds include the theft of user-generated content, violation of intellectual property rights and trademarks and copyrights, and violations of user privacy. In different virtual worlds, there are certain rights that are granted after users sign up for use. For example, in Second Life's terms of service, user-created content is protected from misuse through ownership rights under applicable law. Other users included hackers and companies unjustly steal user-generated media and content in virtual worlds. Intellectual property rights differ worldwide, and the use of someone's personal creations are protected from use and theft. But they're protected differently. Licensing and brand names may be required for virtual world use depending on how the companies regard appropriate nominative or fair use. U.S. trademark law regarding e-commerce is also debatable based on how one views the virtual world content or brand use. Violations of user privacy in the virtual world come from tracking and manipulation of user data for efforts in exposing others, policing, or advertising. Concerning the economic, social, and legal issues of virtual worlds, the ethical theories that can be regarded in analysis according to Chonko, are deontology. An entity will follow their obligations to another individual society because upholding one's duty is what considered ethically correct. Utilitarianism. An entity performs the acts that benefit the most people, regardless of personal feelings or to societal constraints of law and rights. For an entity, the rights established by society are protected and given the highest priority. In the manner in which real money trade and third-party gaming services sacrifice achievement hierarchy, ease of access to valuable resources, and enjoyment of social experience in the hope of generating value across the virtual world trade community can be argued in justifying or contradicting utilitarianism, where whether one values profit in the economy over gain fairness. The utilitarian approach can also be viewed as being contradicted as companies push for scarcity among virtual assets to increase their value through promoting the validation of acquisition of products to achieve happiness that the virtual world supplies to some of their members, while it also degrades the game experience for most and increases profits among creators and investors. The enabling of bullying in the virtual world defies utilitarian approach because making the decision not to rid the platform of revenue-generating members would be decision-making that would bet a minority of investors and creators rather than a majority of video game users. Removing grieving members of virtual worlds would support deontology, as the creators will identify their duty to allow all members to feel safe and comfortable and act accordingly. Some may argue that allowing virtual violence would support utilitarianism because in sacrificing exposure to violence that may shift users' moral reasoning and may later inspire reward violence, users obtain enjoyment and it possibly prevents violent behaviors. In contrast, those who allow virtual violence in the virtual world may or may not be viewed as contradictory to deontology because they are not upholding their duty to promote what is morally correct. They are fulfilling their duty to provide an interactive environment in which users of the virtual world can do as they choose. The toleration of unauthorized use of intellectual property, theft for content and media in virtual worlds violates the ethical principle of rights, as they are not protecting or respecting the use of personal or own material, which should be only utilized by those who have received content or have paid licensing for rights of use. The permittance of advertising companies gathering data for future manipulation, exposure, or profit infringes on the individual rights to privacy as a virtual world. Interaction patterns are not used for anything that the user did not knowingly authorize. One can also argue that companies are not following their obligation to uphold the privacy and enjoyment of players in respect to deontology if they're not securing privacy. Overall, while the ethics and morals differ worldwide in how virtual worlds should be ran, virtual worlds creators, investors, and users must do more to combat these issues and ensure that these spaces where users seek to engage with others, explore, and immerse themselves do not continue to cause them physical, mental, financial, or social damage. These are my references. Thank you.